Hey, this is Winston, and I've been coming to Glad Tidings for over 3 years now. I work with TD Bank, and I work on IT development, so basically creating web applications. Thinking about the question, God at work, I think puts the perspective for me to say it's a job that we all go and need to perform for a living, but it's a great tool for us and the opportunity for us to experience His love and also to showcase His love. And there are situations where I can think about, like, have I consciously made room for God? Would be in my actions specifically, and that could be testing times where, hey, things have gone wrong and it's time for you to act out. And are you acting in the moment? Are you asking God? Are you giving that time to listen to God? Then I had to rely on God at a number of situations, and there were situations where things didn't go well, and I had to sit down and say, God, make things work. I cannot make this happen. And I've literally,
even in computers.
And sometimes you think, hey, it's a computer, so it has to work. It's gonna work or it's not gonna work. We prayed, we worked through that journey, and then we didn't know what things were happening. Went for lunch, came back, and then it just worked. And everyone asked me, hey, what did you do? How did this work? I did nothing. I said I had to pray. I just prayed. And so much we take for granted that God cannot work in these things, but there's so much God can do when you give Him the opportunity and also hear from Him. And this was where I started realizing that we tend to box God only when it comes to health, only when it comes to financial situations. But God can be a vital part in my day-to-day life. That changed the perspective when I started growing in with my skill set. When I thought that, hey, I got to work on this skill, then I become a skilled worker. But at the end, I got to also rely on God for me to have the favor of God when I go and when I carry Him in these situations. One of my co-workers was going through a journey, and his wife had a cancer. And you realize him going to hospitals regularly, all of that stuff. But just having that open conversation to say, hey, things okay. And then he opened that situation out. We prayed and have constantly prayed. And he's walked through that journey with his wife, and now his wife is cancer free. It's an amazing journey. But it's important for us to ask the questions and also be as salt and light. And sometimes you hear things out where people are open, and sometimes people are not. And sometimes it's just being there makes that difference for your team and for your colleagues.